Welcome to this brief video. It's going to be very brief. In this video, we seek to understand two important terminologies. Number one is the model 1, which is always in the candle 2, and number 2 is what the kiss of death. People often have time trying to do what get a very detailed understanding of how to take advantage of what model 1 entries. Model 1 entries is the classic order block, your classic order block formation at what candle 2, right? And your kiss of death is your what is the last driving force that does what propels price to do what smash into your range low. Now before you have what a range on a 4 hours time frame right here, right? You have a range happening here. Mind you, I'm strictly just talking about model 1 and kiss of death. So any question regarding where is the key level, etc and etc, I might not pay attention to it, neither will I attend it, because that's not the sole purpose of this video, right? So we already have a range here, and we already have what the high of the range attacked right here. And because the high of the range was attacked, and the candle that attacked the high of the range, this unique distinct in between candle, your pin bar, failed to make a closure above it, above the high of the range, it simply did what gave you a much what confirmatory bias that the preceding candle, which is the next candle, is going to make lower price at least to 50% of what the range, at least. Now it's very important and beautiful and more better and more relaxing, do you understand, to trade your ranges in confluence or to the higher time frame story. What's the story? What's the story of the pair? Are we in a series of a bull trend on the pair? Are we in a series of what? A bear trend on the pair, right? If we're on a bull trend on the pair, what do you expect? We expect every lows to serve as what? Liquidity. And we expect every highs on what? On the bear trend to serve as liquidity. Markets tapping into either of them to distribute aggressively until target is met. So failure for candle 2, which is your pin bar, to close above, give you what extra confirmation that candle 3 is going to print and do what? Smack down within the range, keep making what lower price. Why? Because the print of the volume of candle 2 is giving us what that sellers has been exhausted, and they could not buyers are exhausted rather, and they could not push price to close above the range. Now because the highs and the lows are our guide, this is what we do with it, and this is how we do it, make sequential day-to-day analysis out of it. So what do I want to do here? I want to scale down to a lower time frame that gives clarity. Don't pattern the time frames. Your first statement, like, okay, if you are trading 4 hours range, go to 15 minutes for what entry. What about me that take entry from 5 minutes? Am I daft? I'm not. So don't pattern your what entry time frame. Don't pattern it. Don't pattern your range trading. So going to the 15 minutes time frame, let's see if there's something more clear to see here. Now you're going to see that it's very obvious on the 15 minutes time frame. This is your manipulation. That's a manipulation right there. The wick you saw on the higher time frame is actually an embodiment of what different candles on the lower time frame. You need to get that every wick is actually a candle, depending on the time frame that is doing what it's being printed on, right? Now having said that, your model 1 is your order block that's tapped into what the previous range high or the previous candle high, as the case may be. Classic. The candle that did what stabbed into it, stabbed into your range high or stabbed into your range low, once flipped upside down, by flipping upside down, it simply means once it's being invalidated by another opposing candle, it becomes your model 1. It becomes your classic model 1 entry. Model 1 entry. A model 1 is your order block. Now, on the 5-minute right here, this singular candle, can you see it? Let me highlight it for you. This singular candle right here did the job. So that singular candle right there, it did what? The job. What job did it do? It was the candle that was the driving force that stabbed into the range high. All you need to do is simple. Wait for the candle to be invalidated by what? An opposing candle or the opposing volume. So you simply need this candle to experience what? A full closure below. You just need this candle to be flipped upside down, flipped either way rather, and experience a full closure, a single unit full closure right below. Now this on the 5 minutes time frame, so you might not get a whole hint of it with the next example I'm about to display. This is my singular unit order block right here. Right, this is my order block. This is the young man or the young candle that I want to mark out what as my order block inside candle 2. Do you understand? Why? Because this is the lower time frame. This 5 minutes time frame. This whole bunch of candle here, this whole bunch of this whole bunch of what activities right here can it either be one candle or two candle what on the 15 minutes time frame, or maybe on the what 20 minutes time frame. Now let's check it out. I'm moving way ahead to try to show you how I trade model 1 in a lower time frame, but let's keep it simple. So you need this candle that's tapped into it to be what's invalidated. So you need a closure below it, something like this. This is not your model 1. Hello, this candle right here is not your model 1. This is not your model 1 candle. This is not your model 1 typical order block. People are going to mark it. Of course, is this? No, the candle that did what? Staggered into the high, into the range high or the range low. That is your model 1 candle. That is the candle to pay attention to. That's the candle that did what? Sucked all the buyers. It took them, it gave them hope, gave them what euphoria that okay, yeah, we're going to push price way higher, and sucked away all those hope within an instant. So we need that candle to be flipped by volume. Now, what does it mean to be flipped? It needs to be closed. A candle should close below it, not wick like what you have here. This wick, your model 1 is not valid here. It's not, because that was a wick. It was a wick. It became valid when this candle closed below. So you can typically come, place your entry. This is candle 3. This whole region is candle 3. Place your entry, your stop loss above model 1 candle, the wick. If you want to cover the wick, fine, and you target all the way to the low. This is how it's done. It's as simple as ABCD. Now, but if I'm going to introduce you to how I trade my model 1, you need to understand this diagram. Let me use this and draw it out. If you will eventually trade model 1 the way I trade my own model 1, not advisable. Or if you feel like okay, yeah, you want to do it, you need to understand this diagram. Very important. This diagram, you need to understand it, because this is your typical what structure and what liquidity. structure shifted, there was what? A shift in state in delivery. The price was what? Initially in an uptrend, then there was what? A shift in state in delivery, and you have a first valid retracement that almost came rather to complement the high that brought about the fresh low, right? It came within 50%. It's kind of complicated, but well, people that are already trading structure and liquidity should understand what I'm talking about, and it should not be very difficult for them to trade model 1 on lower time frame. It should be the easiest thing they can do. Yeah, should be the easiest thing they can do. So I need this liquidity inducement, this inducement right here that complemented what's the high, to be taken out and be triggered. There's an order block right here, so I need it to be taken out, triggered, and boom, we'll have a flat decline. So this is what I mean by it. This is how you trade model. This is why a core beginner trade model 1, right? Classic. There's nothing wrong with it. Decent 1 to 3R. There's nothing wrong with it. Classic, right? How do you trade model 1? How do you trade model 1 trader? This is how I trade model 1. First of all, in trading model 1, which is a bit advanced, you need to, aside what I just showed you now, key levels are important. The strength of what? The manipulation candle or the manipulation key time zones within the range is key level. They are inseparable. You cannot separate candle 2 from key level. It has to be that it smacked a key level for all these things to do occur. But unfortunately, maybe in the preceding videos, I already said something that I'm going to strictly just teach you how to trade model 1 here, and your keys of death. So, but in the next video, I'm going to map out key level for you. I also did that on some of my YouTube videos, so you can go check it out. So how do you trade model 1? I like trading model 1 on the 5 minutes time frame. Why? Because it gives me a low, a very tight stop loss to use. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, as the case may be. I don't really use 1 minute. I'm just 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm okay with these 2 time frames. Now, typically, I expect that the direction should change, seeing that my candle 2 has smacked into a key level. How do I confirm my direction to change? A shift in state in delivery, very important. Another additional confirmation was the break of structure, right? So let me kind of label it. So shift in state in delivery and a break of structure. Now, after my shift in state in delivery occurred, which is already giving me that structures is about to shift, I like to see inducement complementing the highs that brought about the CSID, and this is a typical example of it. Do you understand? This is a typical example of it, and this is the order block. If you want to mark this IFVG, it's also good, right? That's your order block in partnership or in complement of IFVG, and this is it. Or I just need to wait for price to do come back into it, to do tap into that particular region. So you have something like this. I don't just enter immediately. I need to see a little volume rejection from this lower time frame. So typically my entry might be somewhere around here. Typically, this was a live entry would have been somewhere around here, and my stop loss is going to be right about here. But I like to use 5 pips often all the time just to be safe. I like to use 5 pips. But this scenario, it doesn't warrant 5 pips. My stop loss is usually 5 pips, right? So nonetheless, let your stop loss cover the high, maybe with 2 extra pips on top, as the case may be. Once it's done, I target all the way to the low, right? I will now choose out of my own benevolence to say, okay, I want to add position, I want to get more entries during the candle 3. Often over time, when you get an entry in candle 2, you have gotten literally the reversal. So I just hold it all the way down to candle 3. Now what's the case of death actually? The case of death is the last. I need you to understand this, very important. If this is a target that's about to be met, before market, often of the time, if not most of the time, before market hits this target, it's going to give you a setup, and that setup is a trap. It will come few pips, maybe tens of pips, 40s of pips shy away what from hitting the target, and it's going to print one of the best reversal setup you've ever seen. But you need to understand that that setup is actually what? A trap. You're going to get wrecked, because the next thing you know is that actually what? A trap. When you have price come very close to your target and suddenly you start printing reversal, that's a trap. The setup entirely is a trap. Entirely is a trap. How do you maximize that trap? Is from the concept coined kiss of death. The last stab, the last turtle soup before price smash into the target. That's your kiss of death. Now, that's enough for a lot of grammar. Let's look at it up right here. Yeah, let's look it up right here. Now, this kiss of death oftentimes is where people that pattern range get wrecked, especially people that pattern range as a candle, regardless of the higher time frame story, the higher time frame view, regardless of it. Now, this is what might be going through their head. They are not seeing the bigger picture, so they are stuck within this tiny movement. Like, oh, you know, you have candle 1, you have candle 2 stabbed into what? Candle 1's low closed above. You have what? You have model 1 entry here, and you have 50%, and boom, suddenly it smacks all the way down and viciously takes out your stop loss and hits an unknown target, and you're bewildered. You're so much in what? Deluded bewilderment, because you're imagining what happened, what went wrong, what did I do wrong? The concept doesn't work. So what do you mean? Meanwhile, the simple little gaze is this: what is happening right here is markets trying to do what? Trick you that, okay, yeah, I'm due for a reversal. Meanwhile, target has not been met. This is your kiss of death right here. Stabbed into what? A high. This is a kiss of death. There's an SMT here. Yeah, this is a kiss of death. There's an SMT here. Stabbed into what? The high of the candle. And viciously to what? Drive price aggressively towards to the range low. Now, where your kiss of death may form depends. Why? Because you're not the market. You don't print these candles. They print themselves, and they work according to their own pace. So you don't work on them. They work on themselves. Often of the time, you're going to have your kiss of death forming at the OTE, right? Often of the time, you're going to have your kiss of death forming what? Very, very close, just like in this area. Very, very close to the target. Nonetheless, as long as it's the last sweep that drives price viciously into the target, and it's your kiss of death. Now, a little more breakdown, and we'll wrap up this video. One is this: your model 1 is always in your candle 2. There's no other place you're going to find it. It's not in candle 1, it's not in candle 3. Your model 1 is always your other block. Your thick stabbing candle is always in candle 2 of the range. Then you're going to find your breakers and your OTEs in what? In candle 3. That's where you find them. Your breakers, your OTEs, and your what? Your KODs, your kiss of death. You will never find your kiss of death in candle 2. You will never find it in candle 1. Never. You will always find it in what? Candle 3. So I hope this little session was quite eluding in terms of what information. and is insightful. Please do ask questions if you feel okay, you don't fully understand one or two said. Kindly ask question. See you next on another episode.